Hey guys, what's going on? So there were a few pieces of news about Star Citizen recently, and I thought I'll do another update video about it because it gets more and more of an incredible phenomenon every day. It's just incredible. I mean, you probably read it, but 39-year-old IT professional Wolf Knight, that's his name, spent more than $22,500 on the Star Citizen ships. He justifies it by saying that he has like a Pokemon complex, so he has to have them all, he has to collect all of them. He's saying they put it out there, I'm gonna buy it. Also, he's mentioning, and that's actually a quite interesting point, is like Chris Roberts making another space sim game. It's like Tolkien would come back and write another episode of Lord of the Rings. And I think there's actually quite a bit of truth in that. A lot of people, including me, I mean, I used to be a massive Wing Commander fan, I loved the previous games, and now Chris Roberts actually making another space sim is just such a special thing. I think for me, he's one of the very few remaining gaming legends. I mean, there was like Richard Garriott, you don't hear much from him these days. There are people like Peter Molyneux, you know, who kind of ruined his reputation a little bit by just promising way too much for every game he does and then disappointing in the end. There are still kind of legends like Hideo Kojima and these guys, but I personally am just much more connected to Chris Roberts and his games just because I played all these games when I was a kid. The Star Citizen campaign just hit 77 million, and I remember when they reached 40 million, I thought, oh my god, this is unbelievable, this is beyond anything that we could have expected. Now they are nearly at 80 million, and they're probably going to hit that quite soon. They made up to $1 million in just 5 days recently, and what's just really fascinating about this is that if anyone would spend that amount of money on any other game, let's say you would spend it on World of Warcraft or even something ridiculous like Candy Crush, right, where people spend thousands of bucks just to kind of reach the next level, everyone would be like, oh my god, you have a gaming addiction problem, you can't put that much money into a game, it's gonna ruin your future. But when it comes to Star Citizen, and actually the guy I was talking about, this Wolf Knight who spent $20,000 on the game, he made a video where he showed all his ships and stuff. I'll link that down in the description, you can watch that, but all the comments are really positive. Everyone's like, oh man, that's great, I'm so happy you're supporting this game and you're doing the right thing and all that. I mean, obviously he's not ruining himself, he has enough money to put it into something like that, but nonetheless it's just impressive how everyone is just really positive and confident in supporting this concept with a lot of money. The average Star Citizen supporter has contributed $96 to the game, and that is quite a lot. I mean, it is way over full price for any game, and there's not even a game yet. I mean, yes, they've released like the dogfighting module, they've released a video that shows the planetary landing, they showed the shooter module and all that. But besides there not even being a real game yet and a lot of stuff not even really working, even some of the functions of the ships are not working, the fans and supporters of this game are just incredibly patient. You go to them or you see an interview somewhere at these conventions that they do where they show new features, and you ask them like, what do you want of Star Citizen? What do you want next? Do you not actually want to have a game next? And people are like, no, I'm okay, you know, just give me a few more ships or something and I'll just wait. So people are like incredibly patient with this and they don't push for anything. They really have the mindset of saying, look, Chris Roberts, if you take forever to create the best game ever, then take your time, but make sure it will be the best game ever. And that is just such an incredible and unprecedented way of developing a game, right? Normally, you either have the crowdfunding people who've funded it on Kickstarter who are in your neck and who are like, well, make all these stretch goals happen, and if you don't do it by this deadline, we're going to kill you. Or you have the publisher on the other side who's pushing you to develop the game to a certain deadline. But here, it just seems that the money keeps coming in, they have all the time in the world, and they can really create a game that has a new level of quality and like a new quality standard, really. So I find that really, really fascinating. And it's also incredibly fascinating how Chris Roberts achieved all these things. I think there are two main pillars of the Star Citizen success. One is that he's basically selling digital collectibles. All these ships that people are buying, I mean, you can see it, this guy just spent more than $20,000 on it, and he probably will keep spending money on it. The average contribution is $96, which is quite a lot for any game. So people just want to own these ships, even they can't fly them, they want to have them in their hangar, they want to walk around them like a collectible. They want to have it, they want to own it, it's like a special edition of the game, and that's something I've never seen that in any game. Yes, there are, you know, swords you can buy in World of Warcraft and they cost money, and right? They might have a little bit of that collectible character, but to the level that Chris Roberts is pulling it off with this game, it's unprecedented. And I think the second pillar of the success of Star Citizen is just the incredible amount of community involvement that they have done from day one. They do everything they can to involve the community, to give people feedback where they are in the development. It's a very honest process. Everyone can know where they are at the moment, and they know why it still takes more time and where the problems are. They do a whole YouTube channel that is just about like little update videos, and they show a guy fixing bugs, and they really created a new level of transparency when it comes to developing a game. Everyone can see where the development is at any point in time, and people just really love that. People appreciate this honesty that they put in the development, and I think that's why people are so patient and not demanding. Of course, it costs Chris Roberts and his company an incredible effort to maintain this involvement of the community, but I think you can see that it's just so worth it, because you generate a crowd of people who are actively involved in your game and they're emotionally invested in it. So I think Star Citizen has one of the most loyal fan bases that you can ever imagine. So I find all these facts just incredibly fascinating, and I wonder where they're gonna go. And I guess the big question is, will Chris Roberts actually be able to pull it off? Will he be able to create a game that lives up to all these expectations? Because at this point they're just so high. The big persistent universe and discovering new planets and landing on planets and everything that he promises is just, it just sometimes reaches a point where I'm sure he's also quite worried about the amount that he promised. And I mean, he reached all stretch goals on his website that you could possibly reach, but at the same time you can see that they are making quite good progress. Like I said, the planetary landing has been shown, the shooter module, walking around in your spaceship in space and getting up and fixing something in the back part of your spaceship in mid-flight has been shown. So I think they're making good progress, and it looks very, very promising. And I think for me, it might just become an extreme time killer if the game really delivers what it promises. So guys, I'm extremely excited. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. You can subscribe to my channel for more. Otherwise, stay tuned, take care, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Bye.